When we're walking around, a lot of times we don't really have a plan, but every once in a while we'll take out our phone and look to see if there's anything special in the area or anything highly rated. We found this bakery called August 1st, and we sort of have a weak spot for bakeries, so it wasn't a hard sell. We went in and got coffee, and we saw that their specialty was a biscuit that they cut in half, warm up on the griddle, and then they give you maple butter and strawberry jam to put on top of it. And this was absolutely incredible, so decadent. This is another one of those things that I would get back on the train right now if I could go eat it again. Right behind the train station in downtown, you have the Burlington Greenway. Really pretty.
So if you were getting off with your bicycle, this would be a good stop.
Oh, it would be.
Yeah.
We gotta figure that out one day, how to do this with a bike. We would need bikes for that.
Yeah.
That would be step one, get bikes. We were very impressed by Burlington's waterfront area. We were not sure what to expect from Burlington, and this ended up being our destination out of convenience for the wedding. It wasn't somewhere that I had this burning desire to go visit, so I feel like it was such a treat being here. We were really impressed by the amount of green spaces and how walkable it was, all of the different stores and cafes, the bike trail. They had benches everywhere where you could just sit and relax. Quite an inviting place. It's not that cold.
Not that bad. Yeah, you could actually go in.
You could go in. I'm not going in.
Feels like New Jersey. Yeah, it's still warm-ish.
Little sailboat over there.
Yeah.
Lake Champlain is quite beautiful, with the mountains on the other side and all of the little sailboats zigzagging across the water. I had no idea that sailing was such a big thing here. There's a sailing school and you see these sailboats all over the place. What a fun way to experience this area. If we were here a little bit longer, we would have tried to do some sort of boating activity, but we really just had this one day to get an overview of Burlington, and then we had to get back on the train tomorrow to head home. It's a very nice beach right along the greenways on the other side there. Little fitness stations. Wasn't expecting to see like a beach.
They have a pavilion. Yeah, in the water.
Just a great outdoor space, really clean and access to bathrooms and everything. We're usually not big fans of exploring cities, but this didn't really feel like most cities. There's so many green spaces and you have this great waterfront area. There were all the other things that you find in a city, traffic and all that kind of stuff, but at least you could escape it and get a little bit of a break from that and really immerse yourself in some nature. So we were surprised by Burlington. I think we might find our way back in this area at some point in the future. But we had to head back to the hotel and get packed up because the next morning we were leaving and heading to the Essex Junction train station, and we were heading back to Philadelphia and back to New Jersey.
There we go. This way? Yeah.
We had to take yet another Uber from our hotel to the train station. But luckily at Essex Junction, Patrick found a bakery called The Nest, and they specialize in these muffins. It's a nest muffin, and it has an entire egg in it. It's like breakfast in muffin form, and they were incredibly delicious. This is another food that I would get back on that train right now if I could go eat it. I had no idea that Vermont was going to be such a great food destination.
The long walk to the train station.
Since it was dark when we arrived here, it was kind of disorienting. We didn't get a good feel for the area, but Essex Junction is a great little spot. Not just because of that Nest Bakery, but there are other stores and shops there as well. We got back onto the Vermonter, heading south this time, and this part of the trip was great because it was earlier in the day, so we had a lot of daylight. So I actually got to look out the window and enjoy the scenery this time. When we came up, it was dark, so I missed all of this.
Outside this class meets in the middle.
The conductor walks through the train, and if you just got on, he will check your ticket, and if you are getting off at the next stop, he will let you know how much time until you're going to be getting off and which door to stand by. That's an important one, if it's the left side or the right side, because the platform can be on different sides depending on where your stop is. But we were on the train for quite a bit longer because we were going all the way down to Philadelphia. So we really settled in, and I had a book and I downloaded a bunch of podcasts, but for the first several hours of this trip, I just stared out the window. It was so beautiful. This is the picturesque Vermont countryside that you imagine. So now that we were finishing our first official Amtrak trip, what did we think of train travel? I think there are a lot of pluses and minuses to this. It's a slower form of travel compared to flying. It's going to take you longer to get to your destination, but the process of getting there is a very different experience. You don't have to go through security. You can get to the cafe car anytime you want. You can enjoy a beverage on your trip. You can read a book. It is a more relaxing experience. You have more space around you. So if you have the time, train travel can be a great experience. If you are trying to pick a destination to go to, just consider that you're not going to have a car when you get there. So try to find somewhere where you can walk or get an Uber or a taxi pretty easily. When we first started planning this trip for the wedding, we were thinking about driving up to Vermont, but we decided that we didn't feel like spending that much time in the car because driving really can be stressful, and then you can't do all those things like read a book or have a drink. The only downside is that we can't bring Redford, so if we're going somewhere, that's kind of the deciding factor. If Red has to go, then we can't fly and we can't take a train, we have to drive. Another nice thing about the train is you get to see these little towns that if you were driving and you were on the interstate, you would miss them. And even though it's just a brief stop, you get this little glimpse into what these tiny towns are like. We both agreed that we would like to do another train trip. It gives Patrick a break from driving because he really does a lot of driving, and this way he gets to relax more, and we both enjoyed this different pace and different scenery of traveling. You just have to pick your destination carefully. Have you ever taken a train trip, or are you thinking about planning a train trip? Let us know in the comments, or if you have a recommendation for where we should go on our next train trip, let us know some good destinations that we can look into, and who knows, maybe it'll be in a future video.
Ladies and gentlemen, just boarding. This is Amtrak 55 southbound Vermonter. This train is going to Washington, D.C. It does not accept CT rail or U-Pass. If you're not on with a CT rail or U-Pass, please step off. Go to track 8. This is Springfield, Mass., ladies and gentlemen, Springfield, Mass.
Thanks so much for coming along with us on this train trip to Vermont. Make sure that you are subscribed, and we will see you in the next one.
justice, the next president to be. The news and what you hear, your career. It's time for you to face those fears, and it's all fair to be aware, and I'll be there. So don't be scared. Just take a deep breath of air. And 1, 2, 3 to 10, you begin to focus again. And though time flies, we'll have enough to realize this bigger than the both of us.